Tonight, get ready to bundle up.
We're looking good. We're getting the freeze up. You know, fingers crossed we get the snow.
Manitobans brace and embrace more snow than usual on the horizon. Also tonight.
Again, I think we're just seeing the season starting a bit sooner than last year.
A closer look at the rising tide of flu cases sweeping the province. Plus,
the evidence has been mounting about the harm of social media.
The push is on for an Australian-style social media ban for kids. Could it actually be put into practice?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. If you're hoping to spend more time outdoors this season in the snow, you may be in luck. Environment Canada released an outlook showing a lot more snow is on the way. Standing by outside, braving the elements tonight is CTV's Joseph Bernacki. So, Joseph, how cold is it right now, and what can we expect in the coming weeks?
Well, Marilee, it's kind of bone-chilling right now. That cold kind of just sticks to you if you stand outside long enough. I spent a little bit of time outside, of course, today. Well, you know, a spokesperson from Environment Canada I spoke with said we're expecting more. There's a high probability we're going to expect more snow than usual over the next couple of months. It's welcome news for many outdoor-based activity organizations who thrive on a snowy winter.
It's 40 to 50% probability that we will have more than normal snow.
Natalie Hazel and her colleagues at Environment Canada say more snow will fall for the next 3 months. That's according to their latest seasonal forecast. She says that's not 100% certain, but they base this on a relatively weak La Nina weather phenomenon. It's a type of weather pattern that can bring colder temperatures as well, and the trend is looking like a snowier winter ahead.
The latest one was produced on the 30th of November, and this has the signal for this above normal precipitation through most of southern and central Manitoba.
That's welcome news for snowmobile drivers. Staff at Snowman say they could use more snow on the ground, but they are on track for a good season.
Normally, you know, our trails don't open until the first part of January. So I think we're looking good. We're getting the freeze up. You know, fingers crossed we get the snow, and we'll be good to go.
At Windsor Park Nordic Center, cross-country ski enthusiasts are keen to hit the trails.
We jumped the gun a little bit. They're not supposed to open until tomorrow.
That didn't stop Ethan Davey and his friends from trying out the snow, including Etienne Loney, who tried the sport for the first time Friday despite the frigid air.
It was really cold and really windy, but I can see the vision. I can see where this sport can take you. I can see how it can be a really enjoyable experience.
Volunteers at Windsor Park are hoping for a soft launch to their season Saturday.
Snow is still falling, and hopefully more is coming. Here at Windsor Park, we're lucky enough we can make snow, which is quite the endeavor. It's not without its challenges, but it's so far going fairly well.
Incidentally, it's an exciting time of the year for Snowman as the organization is celebrating 50 years this year. Different parts of the province, they told me, have a number of different rides planned for snowmobile enthusiasts. They're counting on more snow as they've got one already lined up in January from Russell heading to Riding Mountain National Park that's nearly sold out. So they're hoping for more snow on the way.
Other than the cold temperatures, doesn't look like much else weather-wise is happening out there right now, though.
Yeah, it's just kind of blowing snow right now a little bit, Marilee, but kind of clear skies. It's going to be expected to be cold, I believe, for the next few days. Environment Canada was telling me. Then a warm-up for one day next week. Hopefully, Colleen will have some more information coming up soon.
All right. Get inside and warm up, Joseph. Thanks for the update. And looking ahead to the spring, the province is predicting a normal to below normal runoff when the melt does eventually get underway. The fall report from the Hydrologic Forecast Center is largely based on two factors: soil moisture and water levels at freeze-up. For most regions of the province, the report says both measurements are below normal. It adds both Lake Manitoba and Lake Winnipeg are at historically low levels right now, meaning both have plenty of room to receive the spring runoff. However, researchers say the major factor still needs to determine how much precipitation we will receive over the winter. And speaking of precipitation, it looks like most of our province did not see enough of it last month. The federal government's drought monitor shows conditions worsened in November. Take a look at this. This was the situation as of October 31st. You can see that little patch of extreme drought in the east and severe drought through the Interlake and northern regions. And this is how things stood as of about 2 weeks ago. Extreme drought conditions reappeared in the north and northwest and widened in the east. And the south wasn't spared either. Severe drought appeared in Westman and intensified in the Interlake. All right. We've been talking a lot about weather already this hour, Colleen. Time for you to come in and break down what the weekend is going to be.
Well, first of all, the reason why you're not seeing anything happening out where Joseph is, except just imagining how cold it is, it's because an Arctic ridge of high pressure is basically locked onto the prairies, and it's strong enough that it's keeping the clouds at bay, which means that snow that we're expecting for the rest of the winter, well, we won't see much of it, certainly in southern Manitoba over the next 48 hours or so. And it is going to be so cold, in fact. How cold, you ask? Well, the prairies, these areas all lighting up in yellow, have been put under Environment and Climate Change Canada's new yellow warning for cold, including much of the south, including the city of Winnipeg and Brandon as well. We'll have wind chills that will feel as cold as -40, if not colder. Also, so we'll have some overnight air temperatures that will drop as cold as -30 in some places tonight. I'll show you how long this will last. And that warm-up Joseph was talking about, I'll show you when that could happen. And we might squeeze out 2 nice days before the temperature starts to get cold again. Let's take a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, camera blowing around a little bit in those winds out of the west-southwest at 21 kilometers an hour. The air temperature, well, that's -23. But when you factor in the wind chill, it feels like -34. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now, merely, is 70%.
Thanks, Colleen. A major traffic note to tell you about this hour. The city says crews working at the North End wastewater treatment plant have damaged a water main, and it's causing flooding on Main Street near Chief Peguis Trail. As a result, Main Street is now closed in both directions between Seaforth Avenue and Chief Peguis. You're actually looking at a live shot of that section of Main Street right now, which, as you can see, is entirely underwater. Crews right now are trying to figure out the extent of the damage and any impact to people living in that area. You can keep an eye on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, for more details and updates as they become available. Interruptions at a Winnipeg Community Center's ice rinks may not be as disruptive as initially thought. Yesterday, Hockey Winnipeg announced Southdale Community Center would be closing its rinks in January to accommodate a movie shoot, losing 100 combined hours of ice time. However, the community center now says the impact will be closer to 29 hours as the East Rink will remain open. It added fees received for the filming will help offset any increased operational costs and debts it may face. More than 24 people are facing charges tonight after police broke up a drug trafficking network that was operating in a northern First Nation community. Joining me now to explain is CTV's John Hendricks. So, John, just how many people are facing charges as part of this investigation?
Marilee, RCMP say 27 suspects are facing a combined 51 charges. 18 of those suspects live on Bunny Bonnet Beef Cree Nation, about 200 kilometers southeast of Thompson, with the remaining suspects from Winnipeg and Thompson. Mounties say this is all the result of Project Dairy that was launched in June.
What we uncovered was a criminal organization that brought drugs and alcohol into the Bunabonabee Cree Nation. Individuals working within this organization distributed drugs and alcohol to local traffickers. They handled collection, payments, enforcement, and storage and dissemination of weapons.
RCMP say they launched the investigation after several violent incidents in the community, including an arson that destroyed the band office. Investigators believe cocaine, fentanyl, and carfentanil were among the drugs being trafficked. And Mounties say some buyers were unknowingly given different and more powerful drugs. Furthermore, RCMP say float planes were being used to fly in large quantities of liquor, which was then bootlegged to residents. Altogether, RCMP say the street value of the seized contraband is valued at least $1.2 million. And Mounties say the suspected leader of the criminal network was already in custody at Milner Ridge Correctional Center.
We'd received information from our partners at Manitoba Corrections, and it is common for drug traffickers to sometimes continue their business while they're incarcerated.
Mounties also say the alleged trafficking network was unique, given the level of intimidation and control it had over community members. 23 of the suspects remain in custody, with further arrests and charges expected.
John, with so many arrests, what sort of impact is this having on the community?
Yeah, Marilee, RCMP say there has been a noticeable impact on public safety in the past 6 weeks since the arrest. It says service calls to the Oxford House RCMP detachment were nearly halved in November as compared to the previous month.
All right, thanks for this, John. Meantime, Ontario police have arrested dozens of suspects following an investigation into a gang believed to be trafficking guns and drugs throughout the Greater Toronto area, as well as right here in Winnipeg.
Getting illegal firearms off our streets is absolutely critical to protecting the safety and well-being of our communities.
Durham Regional Police say 34 suspects are facing a combined 139 charges. It's the culmination of a months-long investigation into a gang known as 44.
Project Hydrogen led to the seizure of 10 firearms. So far, 4 of them have been traced back to Detroit, where they were stolen. Investigators are working to determine the origin of the remaining firearms. The project also led to the seizure of approximately 18 kilograms of cocaine, 2 kilograms of fentanyl, 6 kilograms of methamphetamine, 1 kilogram of MDMA, 3,000 hydromorphone pills, and more than 200,000 in Canadian currency.
The combined value of the drugs is pegged at some $2.7 million. Of the 34 suspects arrested, police say more than half were bound by a release order from the courts. It's holiday season, so that means it's virus season too. From coast to coast, Canadians are coming down with fevers and coughs because of flu and other viruses. This week alone, Manitoba added about 400 cases of influenza. CTV's Harrison Shin dug into those numbers for us today. So Harrison, what is the flu outlook?
Marilee, it's a stark uptick. 3 weeks ago, it was 149. 2 weeks ago, it was 278. And last week, we added 395 more.
'Tis the season for coughing, and one childcare provider says this is way higher than usual.
Our school age programs, out of 75 children that attend between the 3 sites, at some point about 40 of them had called in with those influenza type symptoms.
Kosser says it's the same across her other locations, with just 12 out of 32 children attending on Tuesday at one of the other locations, with many calls and emails from their parents saying their children were ill.
This last week, we had 395 cases of influenza A. And our hospitalization numbers are going up.
Since August, Manitoba, 967 cases, 233 cases of hospital admissions, and 20 cases that led to ICU admission, with 14 fatalities. And it's not just general public who can get sick from flu. Healthcare staff like nurses are affected.
If a nurse ends up with a respiratory illness or the flu, then the expectation is they're not going to work, because we don't want that been passed to other patients.
Jackson says with these sick calls, it can add more stress to nurses trying to cover more beds.
Nurses find it very morally injuring to not be able to provide the care that they know they should be providing and they want to provide.
She adds keeping the patient admission rate low will help the system, and Dr. Atwell says getting vaccinated will help.
If you're over 65, if you have an underlying chronic disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, heart disease, lung, liver disease, you're at higher risk of having a severe outcome.
Dr. Atwell added that children less than the age of 5 are also in the high-risk group.
Harrison, what can Manitobans do for this flu season to stay healthy?
Marilee, it's pretty simple. If you're sick, stay home, wash your hands, and get vaccinated. Shots are available for free at medical clinics and other locations. Full list of locations are available on province's flu vaccine map webpage.
All right, thanks, Harrison. There is another potential measles exposure in southern Manitoba to tell you about tonight. The province is warning anyone who was at Bethesda Regional Health Center's emergency room in Steinbach on December 9th. That was Tuesday between 1:25 and 4 p.m. If you were there, you're encouraged to check your vaccination records and monitor for symptoms for the next 3 weeks. Sick notes will soon be a thing of the past here in Manitoba, and a new toolkit is now available to help employers and human resource teams manage workplace absences going forward.
This resource is going to give employers the practical tools that they need to adjust their policies and keep their workplaces running really well.
How can I help you?
A scrap on sick notes was announced in last month's throne speech after a push from Doctors Manitoba over the past year. Under the new guidelines, Manitobans won't need to visit a doctor to get a note for most health-related short-term absences from work. It's a move to help lighten the load on doctors.
Sick notes have grown to become a big issue here in Manitoba, with over 600,000 sick notes requested of physicians annually. That's over 1,500 sick notes each and every day. I wrote 2 this morning before driving here. That's a lot, but it's even bigger when you think about the cumulative time away from patient care to write all of those notes.
The new free toolkit available through the Doctors Manitoba website includes templates, forms, and other documents businesses and organizations can use to track and review absences. Legislation to prohibit sick notes is anticipated in the spring. The Canadian Centre for Child Protection says Canada needs tougher regulations around social media use to protect children. The call comes after Australia banned kids under the age of 16 from having an account with a range of social media platforms like Facebook and X. But as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, not everyone is convinced this ban will work.
Ask most young people if they use social media, and you'll likely get this answer.
Pretty often. It's tends to be into my day-to-day life. It's how I reconnect with a lot of people.
Talicia Berdubois says that way to connect has pros and cons for people her age and younger.
A lot of kids do seem to get bullied online, and there's a lot of influences online, negative and positive.
The Canadian Centre for Child Protection supports Australia's under-16 move. While they'd like to see something like that here, they say Canada first needs a regulatory framework around social media use. As social media is damaging to children in a countless number of ways.
Social media is not necessary in those younger ages, and in fact, as we've seen, causes a fair bit of harm.
The Canadian Centre for Child Protection supports Australia's restrictions, and they want a similar approach here. They say the current self-regulation model isn't working, as social media is damaging to children in a countless number of ways.
We know that there are algorithms that are pushing content to kids that they're perhaps not understanding or recognizing that it is being pushed to them. Things like self-harm content, pornography content.
But not everyone is convinced the ban is feasible.
I am skeptical. I'll await the results, but I think overall this is going to be a bigger challenge that needs to be addressed globally.
Some tech experts question how this will be enforced and say children will find ways to get around this.
It may also push people to parts of the internet that just aren't safe, that may not be social media platforms to begin with.
Jeff Keel, CTV News Winnipeg.
A reminder, some additional changes are coming to the new transit system when the winter schedule launches this weekend. Beginning Sunday, all on-request zones currently operating after 7 p.m. will extend service to about 2 a.m. on weekdays and Saturdays. On Sundays and holidays, they'll operate until about 12:45 a.m. Additionally, boundaries for Zone 103 are being adjusted so people can take on-request rides to Garden City Shopping Centre and Walmart. Several routes are already being adjusted and having buses added following complaints of buses being late and over capacity. One seat shy of a majority.
To our newest member of the Liberal Party, Michael Ma.
Another political defection for the Conservatives as a Toronto area MP crosses the floor. Coming up, reaction from Parliament Hill.
Give a child a winter coat. You give them the means to go to school on a cold day, a chance to play outside, because no child should be freezing cold. Donate to Coats for Kids. Proudly sponsored by United Way Winnipeg and CTV.
Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil is down 16 cents. The Canadian dollar is mostly unchanged. Gold added $15. The TSX lost 133 points. The Dow Jones fell 245 points, while the Nasdaq closed 398 points lower. New figures from Ottawa show our province is expected to see a significant jump in federal equalization payments in the next fiscal year. It shows the Manitoba government will see payments rise by $355 million, or 7.5%. Equalization payments have risen steadily for more than a decade. Next year's forecast total of $5 billion is double what the province received in 2020. Manitoba is currently the only Western province that receives the funding. Today marks 2 years since an 81-year-old man with advanced dementia disappeared while out for a walk in North Kildonan. And tonight his family is still searching for answers.
We still haven't found his remains at this point, and I spent the last 2 years trying to just advocate for change, basically looking at what happened and trying to raise awareness around dementia and my dad's situation.
Earl Moberg's daughter, Britt, and other family members have been pressing the Manitoba and federal governments to establish a silver alert system that notifies mobile phones based on geography when a vulnerable senior goes missing. An online petition signed by more than 7,300 people made it to the House of Commons on November 1st. Moberg says the system would work similar to Amber Alerts for missing children.
I 100% believe that could have saved my father's life, and I absolutely believe that this could save other people's lives. And I think, unfortunately, there are going to be more people going missing. So I think there's just such a strong need for both of those aspects. So one, on prevention, creating more dementia-friendly communities, having more education and support from services like the healthcare system.
Britt Moberg also penned a letter to the Premier and Justice Minister. She's asking for a review of how her father's search was handled and is also requesting more resources to finally bring him home. CTV News has reached out to the province for comment. Lots of reaction tonight to Conservative MP Michael Ma crossing the floor to join the Liberal Party, which is now on the brink of a majority government. It's a blow to the opposition and leader Pierre Poilievre ahead of next month's leadership review. CTV's Judy Trin is following the latest reaction in Ottawa.
To our newest member of the Liberal Party, Michael Ma.
Plans for Michael Ma's defection were completed just a few hours before the Prime Minister announced it. Sources say the stealthy move was initiated by Natural Resources Minister Tim Hodgson, who represents a neighboring riding.
Wow, such a big welcome. Thank you.
Few saw it coming. Ma was dancing at the Conservative Christmas party a day earlier. He even posed with Pierre Poilievre for photos. On X, his secret Santa, Conservative MP Kurt Holman, says he gave Ma an Amazon Fire Stick and wants it back. Poilievre says Ma is letting down the people who elected him to fight for an affordable future and will have to answer to them. Ma was elected this past April in Markham Unionville. In the riding, nearly 60% of residents are from China or South Asia. Regional Councillor Joe Lee campaigned for Ma. He says many constituents support Carney's recent moves to improve relations with China and India.
By and large, they think the Prime Minister make a good move.
This follows Chris D'Entremont's floor crossing in November. The Carney government is now at 171 seats, just one away from a majority, and are open to courting others.
They realize, like we do, that we're in a trade war and that serious solutions are required. And they are required every day to go through this charade of obstruction. That is a soul-destroying experience for many Conservative members of Parliament.
In the new year, there could be as many as 4 by-elections, and they're not all safe Liberal seats. As for Pierre Poilievre, he'll have to answer questions about the defections when his leadership comes up for review in January. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The first phase of a rail network that will eventually allow passengers to travel from Toronto to Montreal in just 3 hours was announced today.
This segment represents a unique opportunity to connect 2 provinces and quickly generate benefits for travelers, communities, and the economy. Now, why start with this part of the route? Because it is, for several reasons, the most logical option.
The trains will travel up to 300 kilometers per hour. Today, the transport minister said the new Alto high-speed rail project will connect Montreal and Ottawa first. The government says it chose that stretch in part because it's relatively straight. Trains cannot move as quickly on turns. Construction is scheduled to begin in 2029. Via rail routes between Quebec and Ontario will continue to operate once the project is done. To British Columbia now, where people are preparing for the possibility of more flooding as another atmospheric river is forecast for Sunday.
As difficult as the last few days have been, there is more rain in the forecast. Now is the time for people in flood areas. If you have not done so already, pack a grab-and-go bag. Make it ready. Have the essentials that you need if you are asked to evacuate suddenly. We could have a challenging weekend ahead of us, but with collaboration and teamwork, we will get through this together.
This week's flooding has forced hundreds of households to evacuate while inundating poultry barns and forcing livestock relocations. Waters that poured across from Washington state have started to recede in areas of Abbotsford. Today, the mayor said he's not been contacted by the federal government about the floods and is disappointed and frustrated with Ottawa's inaction on cross-border flooding that has repeatedly inundated his city. Some incredible rescue scenes to show you now in Washington state, where days of unrelenting rain triggered catastrophic floods. The U.S. Coast Guard released this video showing the dramatic rescue of people trapped in their homes as swollen waterways spilled into residential areas. Tens of thousands of people in Washington state have been forced out of their homes, and thousands more are on standby to leave at a moment's notice as multiple rivers in the region reach record levels. 6 people have been injured after a massive gas explosion in California. Surveillance cameras caught the horrifying moment. One home was completely obliterated in the San Francisco Bay Area city of Hayward. At least 2 nearby homes were also badly damaged by that explosion. 6 people were taken to hospital for treatment of injuries. An earthquake hit northeastern Japan this morning. It had a magnitude of 6.9, but there were no reports of damage. The quake was centered just off the east coast. It prompted authorities to issue a tsunami advisory, which was lifted 2 hours later. On Monday, a quake with a magnitude of 7.5 hit off Japan's Pacific coast. A rare violin is expected to go for more than $2 million when it goes to auction next Tuesday. The 17th century instrument was created by a master Italian luthier. There are reportedly only 150 of his on record in the world. One sold for more than $4.5 million in 2022. The auction house in Paris says the violins are rarer than the Stradivarius instruments. It's your last chance to claim a slice in the bread price fixing settlement.
We did our best to hold Loblaw's feet to the fire, but to their credit, they came to the table.
Coming up, how and where you can apply before tonight's deadline.
Well, be prepared for extremely cold conditions tonight and on Saturday in Winnipeg. Some moderation begins on Sunday. Minus 13 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud, but the temperature stays put there on Sunday, and then this is what happens. Up to minus 11 on Monday under a mix of sun and cloud, then a big jump up to +1 on Tuesday under a mix of sun and cloud. Snow comes through on Wednesday, a high of -1, then we drop right back down to minus 22 Wednesday night, and then we land at minus 18 degrees on Thursday under a mix of sun and cloud.
It's the final day to claim a slice of the Loblaw bread price fixing settlement. CTV's Scott Hurst has more on what you need to know to get some money.
This is your chance to get money from a $500 million settlement, and today is the last call to submit a claim. Anyone across the country can apply, all Canadian residents over the age of 18. No proof of purchase is necessary, so no stress trying to find an old grocery receipt. You're eligible if you bought packaged bread between 2001 and 2021. You just need to file a claim online. There is a separate claim process for Quebec residents. This stems from accusations against Loblaw and its parent company of engaging in an industry-wide scheme to fix the price of bread, along with other big players in the grocery industry who have denied involvement.
We've been litigating for 8 years. It's been very difficult. It's an expensive, protracted, slow process. But we did our best to hold Loblaw's feet to the fire, but to their credit, they came to the table. But the most important thing, in addition to the money, the other really important feature is that we're going to be getting information from Loblaw's in Q1 next year, which we hope will, let's just say, bolster our cases against the other alleged co-conspirators.
Payments will be made by Interac e-transfer or by check. If requested, you'll likely see that money within 6 to 12 months. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, Colleen Brady is back now with your very cold Skywatch forecast. There's one day that you can warm up a little bit.
Two.
Oh, two. Okay.
Yes. +1 and -1. We'll take them both, even if it does come with snow. I know that'll make the snowmobilers happy, so you're welcome. There you go. But then, yeah, until then, we have to brace ourselves for actually dangerous conditions over the next 24 hours or so, even potentially into overnight Saturday. It'll be Sunday before things start to moderate and en route to those much warmer temperatures as we get into next week by Tuesday. But for the time being, bitterly cold Arctic air locked over Manitoba and northwestern Ontario tonight, courtesy of these, in part courtesy because of these strong and gusty northwest winds. So Environment and Climate Change Canada has issued a yellow warning for cold, and that does include both the cities of Winnipeg and Brandon, Dauphin as well. All these areas lighting up in yellow. So we will have overnight lows approaching -30 tonight. That's air temperature, and primarily more so out to the southwest, but here in the southeast we'll have some very cold overnight lows, as I will show you momentarily. But when you factor in even some fairly light wind, although in some areas it will continue to be fairly strong, wind chill values will feel into the -40s overnight tonight. Here's how the wind chill already feels across the province. Right now in Winnipeg it feels like -36, ditto for Portage La Prairie, but look at Brandon and Dauphin. It already feels like -41. Up in the north, the current wind chill value in Thompson is -31. So any snow in that region around Thompson will be ending soon. But we had, well, I won't call them mild temperatures today in Churchill, but the least cold temperatures today were up in Churchill. Anything but mild conditions there tonight. Near blizzard conditions expected to develop. Meanwhile, you can see pretty much the western half of the province much clearer and much colder. But whether you're under a warning or not, it's going to be brutally cold over the next couple of days across the province. But you see by Saturday afternoon, lots of sunshine under that Arctic ridge of high pressure. It's so strong, it's keeping the sky pretty clear and keeping those temperatures very cold. As we get overnight into Sunday morning, things start to moderate a little bit, courtesy of this incoming low pressure system that will bring snow to parts of the province, but it will help to at least cut into that bitterly cold Arctic air mass across Manitoba, so it won't be nearly as cold by Sunday. But for tonight, we should drop down to around -26 degrees. That's the air temperature. When you factor in the wind chill, it will feel as cold as -41 overnight. Frostbite can happen in minutes in those conditions. Winds will be pretty strong and gusty from the northwest tonight. The gusts subside tomorrow, but still northwest winds. -23 in the morning under a mix of sun and cloud, on the way to a high of just -20 degrees. Up in the northeast tonight, again, near blizzard conditions expected in Churchill. Light snow through Gillam, Island Lake, and in Thompson. If it hasn't ended already, it will soon. You'll see some sunshine there tomorrow with a high right around -20. Few clouds tonight across the northwest, dropping all the way down to -30 around Flin Flon. Sunshine around the region tomorrow with temperatures in the mid -20s. Clear and very cold tonight across the southwest. Overnight lows -30, -31, and then sunny tomorrow with highs in the low -20s, between -20 and -23. Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, just a few clouds, partly cloudy for Winnipeg. We drop down to the mid -20s, if not colder. Sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Highs around -20, -21, and in northwestern Ontario, cloudy there tonight, but still quite cold, -23, -24. Clouds stick around for the most part. Not quite as cold, but still highs of -18 and -19 degrees. And you know, when these conditions are in effect, so are the sundogs. Very bright out near Roblin was this one that Jeff captured. Nice photo there. And here's the big sundog that was over the Brandon region. That photo was taken by Wendy. Send us yours by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. A group of 100 men in St. Albert has been writing checks for $100 apiece 4 times a year. CTV's Merrick Takash explains where the money's going.
A group of men from St. Albert are spreading some cheer ahead of the holidays.
We get together 4 times a year, 100 guys, and we bring in 3 charities that we think could use some help.
The 100 men call themselves a charitable social club with a goal to help smaller organizations.
When we hear from the 3 charities, the guys vote, pick one of the 3, and they all write a $100 check to the charity, and 100 guys and 100 checks gives the charity $10,000.
Making their pitches this time around, Sports Central, neutral ground, and adaptabilities.
It would be really nice to increase the operational capacity and efficiency of our bike shop. We're asking for some more powered stands for our volunteers.
We have literally one part-time employee and about 40 volunteers.
Together, you and adaptabilities can make a profound difference. So thank you very much for your time.
Near the end of the evening, votes are tabulated and a winner is selected.
The charity that you've selected to receive your contribution today is Neutral Ground.
Neutral Ground runs free events where people can connect over hobbies and activities.
I think it's amazing that organizations like this exist. I think it's the fact that they're prepared to give what they can give.
100 men just doing what they can to help. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Kids can swallow those and the parents don't really realize it.
Shopping for children this holiday season. Up next, 4 things to watch for to make sure toys are safe and fun. Holiday shopping is in full swing, and scammers know it. From fake delivery notices to bogus gift card deals, it's easy to get caught up in the holiday chaos, and technology and AI are making those scams harder and harder to spot. So in an effort to help us stay ahead of the Grinch this year, we are enlisting the help of David Gerhardt, head of computer science at the U of M. David, good to speak with you.
Hi there.
These scams often look like they're coming from your bank, your boss, or your favorite online store. How is technology and AI being used these days to trick us?
Well, the big thing that AI allows the scammers to do is to make their scams a lot more personal, so they can target a specific person or a specific group of people in a much more effective way. They can make images that look like anything they want to look like. They can make text sound like anything they want to look like. So it's more true than ever that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
You know, I talk about this all the time here on the news, but even me in my inbox, sometimes I just don't know. You know, even when you're leery and aware, you can still end up clicking on a bad link and falling victim.
It is very easy to fall victim because that's the point. I mean, these scams are very cleverly constructed psychological tricks, and so it's not surprising that you and I fall for them from time to time, especially when we're tired, especially when we've been doing a lot of Christmas shopping or a lot of organizing. It can be easier to fall for these things this time of year.
Yeah, and we're hitting the peak of that now with only about a week and a half left to secure the gifts for everyone on our Christmas lists. What kind of tips can you offer us right now to avoid getting tricked by one of these scams?
So the most important thing is to take a minute, take a breath, and just wait for a second to see if you're able to identify that it might be a good thing or a bad thing, right? If you're in a conversation that seems suspicious, if you're talking to somebody who's trying to sell something on a marketplace or something like that, sometimes asking a very unusual question can help figure out if you're talking to AI or not. Like, does this come with a tangerine? And if it's a human, they will be confused, and if it's an AI, they will happily tell you how many tangerines it comes with. Asking for a callback is always good, right? That takes the urgency away and then allows you to take a minute to respond and also find a legitimate channel to have the conversation if it's illegitimate. And to know the psychology tricks, right? Urgency is a big trick. Personality is a big trick. All of these things are tricks that they use, and so be aware of them and maybe try to take a breath to avoid them.
David, some great tips. Thanks so much for sharing them with us tonight.
You're very welcome.
Women with uterine fibroids could be at a greater risk of heart disease. A new study shows those with the common and generally benign tumors on the uterus had an 81% higher long-term risk of heart disease than those without the condition. More than 2.7 million women were involved in the study by the University of Pennsylvania. Results showed women with fibroids had an elevated risk across all age groups, races, and ethnicities. That was particularly true for women under 40, who showed an even stronger link between fibroids and heart disease. The study was published by the Journal of the American Heart Association. If there are still little ones on your holiday shopping list, experts are encouraging you to keep safety top of mind.
Each parent has two eyes and a lot of things to do, and things happen quickly.
Dr. Maureen Amann with Cleveland Clinic says if you're buying gifts for young children, the first thing to stay away from is anything that has a button battery in it, as children can swallow them. If the toy has a battery, she recommends you make sure it requires a screwdriver to be opened. Also, you should avoid toys that use artificial intelligence.
Apparently, there's some toys that have AI features that will have conversations with the child, and this could obviously be very dangerous.
And also says she sees a lot of injuries from motorized vehicles like scooters or bikes, so she urges caution if those are on your child's list. Finally, Amann says avoid giving young children toys with small parts or anything that can break off. She says a general rule of thumb is if a piece from a toy fits through a toilet paper roll, it's likely too small for small kids.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic.
An update now to a story we brought you earlier in the newscast. People living in North Winnipeg are now being asked to check for discolored water after crews accidentally ruptured a water main. It happened mid-afternoon and resulted in both lanes being closed on Main Street between Seaforth Avenue and Chief Pegwas Trail. Those in North Winnipeg are being told to check any water needed for drinking, laundry, or cooking. The city says you should let the cold tap run for a few minutes in your bathtub. Don't use the hot tap as it may draw sediment into your hot water tank. If you notice the water is not clear, you're told to wait and try again in a half an hour. You can head to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, for more details as they become available.
There's a certain energy that everyone's delivering, especially on the night of a performance.
A holiday mainstay returns to a Winnipeg stage. Details on Handel's Messiah coming up in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the Crash Test Dummies Jingle All the Way Holiday Tour.
A holiday favorite is returning to Centennial Concert Hall this weekend. The Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's Handel's Messiah kicks off tomorrow evening. The iconic musical work features the beloved Hallelujah Chorus, along with a choir and 4 soloists.
It's such a powerful experience to have not only just the sound, of course, of all the musicians and all the singers, but there's a certain energy that everyone's delivering, especially on the night of a performance. And so you really do get to share in that, and then, of course, hopefully share it with your audience.
At last check, there were only a handful of tickets still available. Those remaining tickets can be purchased online on the WSO's website. Well, some familiar faces may soon be returning to the Hunger Games prequel. Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson are reportedly planning to play Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark in the upcoming film Sunrise on the Reaping. The movie is based on Suzanne Collins' novel, which details the events of the 50th Hunger Games 24 years before Katniss and Peeta first made their appearance in the killing field. Although Lionsgate is rather tight-lipped about Lawrence and Hutcherson's cameos, the book has these characters present in some sort of flash forward. Sunrise on the Reaping is expected to hit the big screens in November. Well, you can relive the magic of Santa at this year's Santa Claus Parade this weekend, and you won't even have to brave the cold. Join host Catherine Dow and Rochelle Lagacé as thousands of Winnipeggers who turned out to watch the colorful floats make their way down Portage Avenue, and of course an appearance from Santa Claus himself. We will be airing our live coverage of the festive tradition in its entirety tomorrow at noon, and if you can't tune in then, well, you can watch this year's parade at any time on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Kick off your Friday night with Happy's Place and Stumble at 7. Hell's Kitchen is on at 8, and Boston Blue follows at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Primetime lineup is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S Antique Spa Salon.
Well, the highest temperature today was the earliest. It was -11 at midnight. The coldest, well, the temperature right now, -23. We're on the way down to -26 overnight. Extreme cold with that cold warning in effect. Mix of sun and clouds Saturday, -20 up to -13 Sunday, -11 Monday, +1 Monday, merrily, -1 with some snow by Wednesday.
Thanks, Colleen. An Australian man got quite the shock from watching his pet cam when he saw his dog had left some of his farm animals, led them, I should say, into the living room of his home. Check this out. The video shows Thunder, that's the dog, opening the sliding patio door. Soon after, Sue the steer wanders in, followed by Cricket the horse. The party animals, Colleen, trash the house, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And the horse is suspected of drinking most of the water in the fish bowl.
Goodness.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
The owner was just out for dinner, but says all the animals made it back outside safely.
Oopsies.
There's a GoFundMe now, I'm
my
sure,
goodness.
to clean up that house.
I
Thunder,
suppose so.
you've been a bad boy.
Bad boy. I've had a fun time, though.
Oh, I
Hope it was
love
worth it,
dogs, but boy, sometimes they cause trouble. All right, stay warm this weekend. We'll see you back here Monday.